Yo, sup, fam? Welcome back. So the idea here is to make a sunflower, something more realistic than what I'm showing here. These I found off Makerspace, Makerworld, whatever, and they're not bad, but they're not very realistic. And so you can see the leaves are real thick, or the petals are real thick. It does have this cool little locking mechanism. I like that aspect, but otherwise just pretty plain and not very cool. I want something presentable. Ultimately, I want to make a bouquet of sunflowers that are somewhat realistic. My wife loves those, so I'm trying to be creative and make her something cool. Yeah, so my idea here, kind of at first replicate this, but make it thinner. The one thing I like about this is it has texture on the petals, although I don't know why it's so thick, and I thought about just altering this design to make it thinner, but the way I would have to do that would be pretty difficult, and probably it's just easier to start over. So I'm gonna sketch a flower using my great skills. In engineering, they often tell you, like, the napkin pitch. If you could sketch out what someone's pitching to you, ultimately you should get the sale or contract, whatever you're looking for. But here in mechanical engineering, it's kind of a skill that you have to practice, be able to do all those different views. But here, I'm demonstrating exactly what you need to do. You pretty much sketch out your leaf, and then you sketch out a couple more, and then you give that to your customer and you say, here, I can make that. And that's essentially what it's going to look like. So on we go. I jump into Creo. I wasn't quite sure what I was supposed to be doing, but I thought if I just make a bunch of ellipses in the general shape of a flower, I could figure it out. So that's what I start with, a lot of deleting segments, and I'm really trying to get the shape down. And then I think that if I layer this, that's really going to be the key, because we want that depth. And so yeah, I try a bunch of things here, end up with this general shape, and I design the center to fit within the petal kind of assembly that I made. And this is what I come out with. As you can see, it doesn't look like a sunflower. It's also pretty thick. And the supports I used are going to be real hard to take off, especially on these flimsy petals. The center piece I did print with some texture. I used the fuzzy feature in the slicer. It fits on there nice. I mean, ultimately not super bad, but also not like a sunflower. And thanks to you guys for telling me that. So I jump back in and go on Google, look up some sunflowers. And really, I'm just looking for kind of a commonality between these different sunflowers. And this one's fake, but it has that general shape I'm looking for. Ultimately, I decide one of these is the best. As you can see, more complicated petal design, and really layers. We want to add that depth to it. So I print this out, or design this and print it out. And the idea is to stack them on top of each other. So you layer it. This is what you come up with. Still shitty. Petals are thinner. That's great. We still have our hole for the center. But I didn't use supports because I didn't want to have to remove those. And to my detriment, that really shows here. As you can see, we kind of have that more sunflower pedal shape, but still not good. So what I'm going to do here is design something that'll hold this center again, so not just have a empty hole. And I go with more of a layer design where I could add multiple pedal assemblies together to give us that depth. So I create the center. On the top, I create two designs, one for the layers and one for the top. I create a little pin to hold it while I'm testing it, but you don't have to worry about that. So this is what we end up with. Kind of got the two assemblies. This one's printed in copper because my mistake, but you layer them up, and that top piece should fit right on top. See? You get that thin layer pedal feel, nice and flexible. And the idea is, since these are thermoplastic, we'll use some heat and heat those up and somehow shape them. So here I'm designing a back piece, and these threads killed me. I don't know why, but I've never really had to design threads, and so I end up referencing some videos. These are supposed to be 1/4 I thought that would be pretty common and easy. Nice coarse thread. But it wasn't. It took me multiple attempts, several prints, and I just couldn't get it lined up. This is where I feel SolidWorks is a little better than Creo, because this helical sweep you have to do just does not work great. So I make an assembly and I just keep editing. I eventually get it, but it still needs some work. I'm probably gonna have to touch that up later. But yeah, this is my struggle. It was probably like 5 hours and still didn't get it. So back to printing. I'm designing a mold here because I want to use something that'll be easily like kind of manipulated. Something that helps you get the pedal where it needs to go. This is what I come up with. I printed that in like ASA or something a little more heat tolerant. The idea is you get these thin pedals and you're gonna align those to the mold. And so that center pin on the mold, you can see it just fits on there. Boom. Yeah, nice, flexible. So we're gonna apply some heat. You always gotta test it. Try to burn your hand. You apply the heat, get it nice and warm. Maybe scalding, who knows? And you press down on it, and that'll help you mold that pedal. You can see it curl up. You sufficiently need to burn your finger here, and kind of works out. Like if you burn your finger for every pedal, you have to do 3 of these. It's about 21, 22, 23, 24 pedals. You almost have enough finger and toes to do this. So as you go through the process, you'll see it's real fun. Any companies looking for someone to design for manufacturability, like I'm probably your guy. But yeah, easy. You put it in there, mold it, turn it, and just repeat that process till you have all the pedals in the shape that you want. This one's kind of nice because it does leave some variation in there. You can kind of mold some directly to the mold, but you leave them a little soft, and I'll see how it bends there. It gives you variation in the overall product. That's why I designed it that way. It's intentional. All right. So now that you've sufficiently burnt all your fingers, you're going to want to assemble this. And so you have the layers, right? 2 layers are the same, and then the top is a little different. It holds the center cap. Put your back piece on, and then you middle layer, kind of offset that, and then your top. There you go, assembled. Oh yeah, and then you use your centerpiece. It should just screw on because I'm really good at designing threads. Yeah, so struggle a bit and then really get it this time. You know, as you add that kind of texture and dimensionality to the pedals, it makes it a little hard to assemble. I mean, for a good operator, they would probably be able to get it. Yeah, don't forget your band-aids. Yeah, so there you go. You can manipulate these a little bit to give you the spacing you want, a little offset on pedals. And there you go. Once my fingers heal, I'll probably finish this up with a stem and, I don't know, cleaner design. Cool. Thanks.